Okay, so first we're going to start off by shaping out my brows just so I can know how I want to fill them in and draw them on. Concealer in the shade Fawn to clean up my brows. Okay, so now you're going to see me fade out the concealer around my brows with this brush. This is just so that the foundation and the concealer flow together nicely. I'm going to use the same concealer that I used around my brows to prime my eyelids. I'm also going to set it with the setting powder, and this is just so that the eyeshadows can blend. I'm going to use a very firm, short shader brush just so I can be very precise and it doesn't get into my brows. Okay, so now I'm going to be using this single eyeshadow from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's called Caramel. This is a really good color for transitioning, and a transition color is an eyeshadow that you would use to help your other shadows blend and flow nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm going to use the shades Realgar and Burnt Orange to deepen the transition color. Okay, so next I'm going to be using this shade out of the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place. The name of this shade is Zobo, and it is super pigmented and super beautiful. so now I'm going to be using this individual shadow by MAC. It's called Deep Damson. I'm going to use that in my outer V just to add a nice contour to my eye. That my contour was not deep enough, so I'm going to add this black shade out of this Makeup Forever palette just to add it in the corner of my eye, nowhere else. Okay, so honestly, I just winged this. I didn't think this was going to turn into a cut crease thing, but it did. I'm going to be using the same concealer that I used around my brows to sketch out my lid. I'm using this brush from my Morphe Me package that I got the month of December. Okay, so I'm going to be using this MAC pigment in the shade Tan on my lids. I'm going to use a flat shader brush just so I can pack that eyeshadow on. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to get this on camera, but I'm using this NYX vinyl liner in black. It's very comparable to MAC's Liquid Lash, just not as matte as the Liquid Lash. Okay, so now you're going to see me drag the liner up, and then I'm going to connect it from my lid to the very end, and then I'm going to fill it in and try to keep the line as even as possible going all the way across. And whatever is not done how I want it to be done, I can clean it up with concealer to make sure I have the straightest lines possible. But whatever, it's okay. It's really okay. I'm not about to do this. I'm not doing this tonight. No. Okay, so my mental breakdown is kind of over. I'm using this Benefit Professional Primer. This is really good for people with oily skin or anybody who has pores. Personally, I don't have pores, but I have oily skin and I like the way it makes my skin feel. So this primer works for me. Okay, Okay, so now I'm going to use this color corrector by MAC in the shade Burnt Coral. I'm using it around my lips, on my chin, also underneath my eyes. I know I don't have a lot of dark circles or dark spots on my face, if any. I just like my foundation to look super even. Okay, so now I'm going to apply my foundation. This is the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation in the shade Deep 74. I'm not sure if you could see that. I was moving kind of fast. This foundation is really good for people with oily skin. If you want a full coverage foundation, this is it. This is probably my favorite foundation I have ever worn in my entire life. Ever. Holy girl. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking this LA Girl Pro Concealer again in the shade Medium Beige and in Fawn. I'm going to put this underneath my eyes just so I can have a nice highlight. I'm going to put it on my nose, above my lip, as well as my chin and my forehead. So now I'm going to be taking this Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick to contour. Pretty sure it's called Earth Cocoa. I can't really find the name online for some reason. I'm just going to contour my cheeks and my forehead. I'll do my nose later. I'm also going to take a contour brush to blend out my contour. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking this Sacha Buttercup powder to set my concealer. I'm going to set the concealer underneath my eyes, my lips, my chin, my forehead, as well as underneath my cheekbone, just to straighten out that contour line. Okay, so now I'm going to be using this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Powder in the shade Cocoa to set my contour all over. So now I'm going to use this Kat Von D foundation in the shade Deep 72. I'm just going to use this underneath my eyes to wipe off any of the excess powder that may have been left behind. This is just going to help my highlight look as natural as possible. Okay, so now I'm going to be using this NARS highlighter in the shade Albotross on my cheekbones. Okay, so now I'm going to be using this blush by MAC in the shade Raizin. This is honestly a holy grail for me because I wear this blush literally almost every day. I have so many different blush, but I never pick anything else up but this one. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this MAC lip liner in the shade Nightmoth. This is another holy grail for myself because I can wear it with just about anything and it will look amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this Soft Matte Lip Cream by NYX in the shade Transylvania just over the Nightmoth to add a little more color. The color payoff with this lipstick isn't really that amazing, but the smell is.